I've had to cut people off, and not because I've wanted to, but because I needed to, for my own energy, my own time and space. So, we're going to talk about mind games and these gaslighting tactics that they use to their person. And the reason that I want to bring this up is because when you love someone, you need them to be in your energy, and you need them to share that energy. They can't be, outside of that energy doing this, that, or the other, because if they are, and they're working in that fashion to do anything else but what they should be doing within a relationship, that's not a relationship, that's a situationship. And that's something that you'll have to discover for yourself if you're going through anything like that. But once you do, and if you do discover it going awry, to say the least, you need to cut these people off from your energy. And it might not be something that you want to do because you have love for them, but it's something that you need to do because you need to be focusing on yourself in ways that there's a whole syndicate of people that are working to literally leave you in destruction. So I'm going to go through these 25 mind games of the tactics that these people use in order to hopefully help people out here to realize some things that maybe they don't currently realize. And if I can help even one person realize those things to be able to move differently, well, then my job is done. I'm hoping I can help more than one person in that sentiment, because it's a very hard-pressed situation to be in. You want love, you want to be loved in return, but if it's about betrayal and literally gaslighting you and manipulative efforts and these silly mind games, you have to call back your energy. No matter how isolated and alone that makes you, call back your energy and go to work on yourself, because you not only deserve that time to go to work on yourself, but you deserve your time to be equitable with the people that you share that value of love with. If it's not equitable and there's no equity there and there's nothing that can come of it besides more and more pain and grief, walk away. Don't fall for the setups and the traps, because they're trying to entrap you. So this is an important topic because it's not one that I believe is discussed extensively online. It's a topic of discussion that I believe people not only need for themselves, but they can self-mitigate the issues that are happening inside of their life to then move differently for themselves and better their future. And they might even as well be able to better the future of the lives of people that are literally choosing to be the breeding ground for sociopaths and malignant narcissists and things of that nature. So if you could turn one person's life around from being just kind of evil and cunty, I don't like using that word, but it's the truth. If you can turn them around from being that way and you can move them into a better way of life, you're doing them justice, and you're doing yourself justice at the same time. So the first one is mirroring your language ideas. They will use your own words and creativity against you. They'll echo you to manipulate your mind and turn your thoughts into traps. So it's just a language tactic for their ideas to be used like spell work. So if they can, instead of supporting you in any sentence that they use, or in any setting that you're in with these people and they bring you down, you'll have to self-mitigate again to realize how you want to move. But most likely what I see happening there is that America's been phonetically changed. They're literally broken from the frequency that the Lord had set here, which is a free energy, mind you. But it's also that energy that you speak to in prayer that literally does have effect to change things. So their goal is to break you off of the truth. Their goal is to break you away from what is true, and how those very words that people take with you are meant to break your spirit so that you don't have availability to see how harshly it does treat you, or how harshly it misrepresents who you actually are. And if you are in a situation like I've been, poisoned and stuff like that, you're going to have a lot harder of a time realizing who you are. You know, like it'll be seen as though you are, how do you say that? Like in a crisis of yourself. As if it's just a crisis that's created by your own self, like an identity crisis. That's what I'm thinking of. It'll look like an identity crisis, but it's not. It's literally things that are happening to the target and happening to the person that's, you know, mitigating their pressures that they can create in order to mold that betrayal over you, or however you want to say it. But it is a betrayal, because if they're speaking in that way, their speech is broken, and what they're doing is spell work. It's literally casting spells over your energy, and it leaves you entrapped inside of your thoughts about, like, why would they do this? How would they do this to me? You know, things like that. And instead of realizing the reality that you're faced up with, you might be gaslit to not believe your own self, to not believe your own intuition, to not believe your own judgment, to not believe your own discernment of what is actually happening. But that is legitimately what the spell work does. Is it hurts. People say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I'd rather the sticks and stones breaking my bones, because words are literally using spell work, and that spell work is very demonic and tied into the demonology that I've been covering, and I have many other areas of coverage, mind you, already written up for that type of abuse. So next is number 2, is the spiritual role reversal. This is an important one because it's very much pinpointing the phony and the people that are acting as if they have your better interest in mind when they absolutely do not. They act as though they're the ones that are doing God's work, but they're gaslighting your divine calling on your life by flipping the script, acting holy, acting holier than thou, while at the same time doing that harm to its target. So they're victimizing a person and then going to others saying, they're not a victim, they're not a victim, they're not a victim, when they're literally victimizing you. Next is number 3, is this false love as a weapon. So for the girl doing it to her man, or for the man doing it to his woman, they use love as a setup to make you drop your guard before stabbing you in the back. And so this is much like a proxy of false love, a false identity, a false love. That's to then only be used as the weapon itself. So that it's basically how I've been saying in my work and in my lyrics of, weaponizing love and weaponizing your trust, weaponizing your truth, weaponizing your kindness or your forgiveness. Anything that's loving, they're literally utilizing to weaponize, to hurt you, not to help you. And they can't do that, the second part, that spiritual role reversal, because that's the same thing as gaslighting your reality to play these mind games and these tactics that's based on true events and your truth that you at times might know and just not have the availability of knowing what to do with it, or even not seeing that type of abuse could come from the people that you love. But if that love isn't being returned, that's not in a stay with love. That's out of that pursuit of happiness. That's out of the realm of two people coming together or more to establish family, to establish real unity. It's literally stabbing it in the back, and the world in and of itself likes to distort this idea in a shameless, very shameless way. So fourth is identity distortion. This is where destiny swap gets in the play, because they're literally trying to steal your identity, perform this identity theft to make others believe that you're someone else or the problem that they're creating to simply erase your truth. So this one speaks for itself, I believe, and I've spoken out about this one extensively in my prior work. But if you're in that situation and they're literally trying to erase you, to erase the truth, they're literally trying to, like the demons, the Leviathan, and these marine spirits of monitoring type of spirits that are literally trying to erase the truth along with you. So if they can get you down and they can kill you, the truth gets washed away. And especially if you're in a situation like I'm in, where they're not only trying to imitate my character online, but they're trying to establish to take everything that is mine away so that they could go in to these accounts and shut them down, and then leave the alternative version that they're trying to create over your life out there for the public to make you into somebody that you're not. You see what I'm saying? Just like a poison, to poison up a person's reality, like psychologically being abusive will do in and of itself, because it's torturous to its victim. But especially when it deals with real biological warfare of chemical assaults or poison assaults onto a person, unwittingly being given poisons, you're not gonna see it when you grow up that way. You have a better chance of seeing it if it started at 18 or 24 or 36, because you yourself has something to compare it to through all of your history. Whereas me in my situation, I didn't have anything else to compare that to besides me being drawn up in this warfare against me, spiritual warfare, psychological warfare, and them operating in these ways. So if you don't have anything to compare it to, neither does anybody else. They literally see that character, the assassinated version of your character, is literally who you are. They don't see it as you can become something else that is not misrepresented by that distortion that they create. So you can kind of think of it as static energy making a person's hair stick up, and that is that static energy that's making their hair stick up. But without that static energy, their hair would sit fine. You see what I'm saying? So they are somebody else that is not being seen physically with the eyes to be seen as that person can do anything better. You see what I'm saying? Excuse me. I'm a smoker. I gotta quit. It's really hard when you're dealing with stress. It'd be a lot easier if you had people there supporting you and being able to get out, exercise, train every day, move in fashions to actually grow in your own value for yourself. And sometimes those things are very, very hard pressed and hard. So I can understand anyone that is legitimately in a situation like I was in. Like, I was way overweight. I didn't know how to get out of the situations that I was in, literally being led blind. But I started working on myself, and I started really going hard, like balls to the wall. 12-hour days, wake up earlier every day, get out there, rollerblade, get ready for work, do laundry, get everything fixed in my life, get back home even, go rollerblading again, get this weight off of you. You need to figure out what's happening to you. Something's happening to you. You're in a covert warfare. You're dealing with all this, that, and the other. And there's literally these cucks around that literally want to siphon off of your light, siphon off of your energy. So, fifth is they'll be playing two faces in real time. They'll be playing on two faces, real fake ass shit. Like, sincerely, like the fakest that people can be is what they'll be faking. Smiling in your face, betraying you in secret, or even betraying you directly in front of you to create duality, to make you question your reality and make you question what you're having happen right then on the scene. They'll just be they'll be just on the phone with you and all cool with you, and you'll be excited to even see them because you maybe not have as much company as you would like, and you don't have as much love in your life as you would like to have, and you're excited. You're gonna hang out with someone that you care about, your buddy. All of a sudden, your buddy flips in a second, comes in the door, poisoning you. Your roommate's looking at him totally giving it away, and he's all like, "Just stop! You're gonna give it away! You're gonna give it away!" Like that's what happened to me. And so these people literally want. I'm gonna move on to 6. They want to trick you into trusting you in the entrapment that they're creating. Meaning these spirits set up in spurts to take you off course. They lured you into trusting them while they were planning and planting that detour to your purpose for you to not be allowed to see your true purpose come to surface. It's a really hard one to explain, but they're literally trickling in trust to set up the traps and entrap you in a way that's literally moving into the next 7, where they're copying your voice, but then they're also utilizing your voice to call you crazy. People not wanting to see it enough to believe it, they're gonna, like I said, be wanting to label you in any which way that they can, to show to other people, this is how he is, this is who he is, when you're not those exact insights. It's just pretentious in their own regard for what they've been doing and how they've been maneuvering that psychological, spiritual, physical, biological war zone that they're creating, and it's a proxy war. You're literally in a war by proxy, a war by design. Next is number 8, they weaponize your honesty. I'm being honest about all the things out here, and I'm being honest about this one too. When you open up, and they literally use your opening up as you're being too dramatic, or you're not a victim even though they're victimizing you, they're using your truth as the literal reason to shame you and to add to the curses that they're placing inside of your life. That's gaslighting. That's manipulation. And manipulation in this regard, especially when it comes from family, but anybody, that's witchcraft. That's legitimately witchcraft. Number 9 is they feed you spiritual breadcrumbs. Script by script, they're enhancing their play-by-play in like their own rule books of how they need you to be seen or how they need other people to see you. They make it look like they're on your side, feeding you just enough love to distort you and keep you suffering. That's gaslighting. That's mind games. That's just being deceptive and using that trickery to be as betrayal or as betraying as possible. Number 10 is harvesting your pain for profit. They'll make money and run total game over you. They'll poison you, steal away your NTF money. They'll gain your trust, which you should have trust of your brothers. You should have trust of your friends. You should have trust established with your girlfriend or your partners. But sometimes you just can't. And you shouldn't. This is what the spiritual breadcrumbs are that led me to know the patterns and recognize the patterns of this abuse, to get away from them long enough where 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I was starting to have memories of all of these things happening to me throughout all of my history where I didn't have that memory before. And then they're aiding and abetting these relationship structures to add for more abuse inside of your life at that specific time. Meaning, for an example, these people don't call you normally. They just never did. The only reason that they ever did was to enhance for more of this warfare that you couldn't see or being blindsided. But that's the spiritual breadcrumb, one of many. But another spiritual breadcrumb would be like literally having that poisoner of a friend and hacker of a friend and bitch ass of a friend that you could even consider a friend through any of it because of being blindsided by poisons, mind you. But if they could work in this fashion and they're calling you and they're legitimately calling you to figure out, did that coffee that was given you by proxy, your girlfriend, work? Did that water work? They're calling you simply to determine, is that poison or is that psychological abuse that we just tried working? And you're feeling it. You get off, you play it off still, or as like I did, I played it off as if I was actually in that circumstance that they wanted me in, and I'd be hanging up on or getting off the phone with them. Next thing, 5 minutes later, you're getting a call from your girlfriend. Same thing. They're just questioning, is it working? They're trying to get inside of your head to see, is this working? And you're like, at least for myself at that point, I was like, OMG, this is too much. I'm legitimately trying to work. They're gaslighting my reality. They're playing these mind games. I threw away my coffee. I'm not taking anything from them anymore because I know now, and I can have that sunlight come back into my body, or that oxygen come back into my body, so that I can metacognate the facts, all of the breadcrumbs, all the gaslighting, all the mind games, all the abuse, and I can put it into my mind now to actually be able to speak it somewhat. But it's really troubling because you're like, how can this be happening? Right? How could they do this to me? Right? Like, you just don't want to see it coming. You don't want to think like people you love, people that you would normally support and want in that stay with love, working in this fashion against you. It's literally the harshest type of betrayal that I believe one can get. Like, me personally, I think bullets would hurt a whole lot less. Like, because it's just one time. This type of murder is a spiritual murder that literally takes over all of the areas of your life, takes over all of your finances. It leaves you in sabotage of not only financial, your home life, your family life, but just in your own glow up, like what you want to do with your life. Because this ain't day. You see what I mean? This ain't day. I wanted a drum. I wanted a supportive family. I wanted that unity in my life. And if it wasn't in a state of like, you know, being in a relationship that you're like gonna get married and all that, then you should be able to walk away peaceably from that situation. You just say, it's just not working out here. Let's just go our separate ways, shall we? And you should be allowed to go your separate way. But that's exactly what these people didn't want for me to have. Just to even get my own time, energy, resource back to me. It's legitimately harvesting my energy for love. For my own love life. For crying out loud. So next is you get a call from your brother. You never call me. And just to shoot the shit with me like this. Literally, same thing. And then it was like, my other brother called me. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. You have to be fucking kidding me. These things can't happen, and these things don't happen because this doesn't happen until you are literally on the edge of breaking through. To reach breakthrough of just the truth. Just the discovery. To even think, what do I do? Where do I go? I'm not safe at home. I'm not safe at work. I'm not safe in my car. I'm not safe anywhere. Where do you have to go? What do you have to do? They're breadcrumbing your reality, feeding this spiritual and psychological operation over your life that's keeping you suffering, that's keeping you in that suffrage. It's such a heavy, heavy feeling, heavy emotion to know what to do with. So my best advice is literally do the best you can to get these people out of your energy, out of your physical reality. If they're still hacking you and they want to imitate your accounts and they want to smear campaign you and slander you and continuously like move about as if they didn't have anything to do with it at all, let them. Just let them go. Do your best to take on the value that you would have and hold for yourself, to move on and to literally try and figure out a new way. I've been suggesting I would like a new name. I would like a new value to go forward with in my life because of how much these people stole away my life, my light, my mind. It's spiritually hacking, if you think about it, to steal someone's self-esteem even, but especially when they're like literally stealing and fucking with your free will. Next is number 10, is harvesting off of your pain for profit. I already went through this one. I didn't say the last part of it though. They're trying to gain, not only financially, off of the pain that they're creating, but they're literally bleeding you out to be isolated, to be character assassinated, and it's emotional vampirism. Simply creating pain for the profit that they can make running schemes and running game on your life, which they'll do. Number 11 is this timeline hacking or hijacking. Your whole life's been nothing but that. Is hacking your timeline, poisoning you, keeping the drops of the poisons coming in all of the time, routed through your destiny in subtle ways. That's to literally block you from everything that you're trying to build in your own life, everything that you're trying to do in your own life. Your love life, energy harvest. You want to drum and do better for yourself and go to work and do this, that, and the other. It's energy harvesting. So it's to leave you in that fire inside going, what's happening to me? I don't have reason to see it. Like you're being blindsided. Cold. Just completely cold. Cold cocked, I would say. This gang stalking, in other words, is like cock blocking for adults. They literally want to cuckold your reality, block you from any opportunity. It doesn't matter if it's just your own glow up, you want to rollerblade or do something for yourself. They want to steal it all away from you. Next is number 12, gaslighting your pain as overreacting, like a complete cowardice move to suggest that that person is overreacting to a very calculated criminal syndicate and a crime spree by proxy, to literally treat your life and your body, your time, energy, autonomy, love, forgiveness, as though all of the areas of your life is set up like a heist movie. There's tons of heist movies out there. You can see that there's multiple players involved in that heist. It's the same thing, same concept. Have you seen the movie Point Break? They wear president's masks. So their masks, when they come off, you can see who they are, and if they, are like Keanu Reeves, they're chasing that person down to bring justice to what has happened to that bank, in a bank heist, in that heist that they're trying to get rid of, so much so as drawing him in to wanting that money, saying, see, look how easy it is. So you could even play your side of the coin, just let me get away. And this, I believe, is literally what happens these days, is they literally play upon two roles to do both ends of the crime. They're playing on the same line of defense there to defend the criminal. So this is that even when you cry or you're in grief, they act like it's too much. You're told to just calm down when you're literally the one under fire and under their gun. Pretty easy to think about this one. They're literally gaslighting your pain and then telling you that you're overreacting when you literally are reacting to the pain that they're causing. Number 13 is to keep you isolated. This is what they do to control your relationships, and it's what I call manipulationships or situationships, because they're setting up conflicts with people that should have been your allies, specifically to leave you further alone further isolated and further character assassinated. Number 14 is they'll make you feel watched and crazy made. Being overly these covert monitoring spirits, the Leviathan and Jezebels is another one. And just simple demons like envy, jealousy, greed, the 7 deadliest sins that people know. There's many others. But they literally hide behind their technology and the masks that they're portraying inside of your reality, gaining access to you, getting inside of your mind. And it's literally to spiritually lock in so that they can literally watch you, like from the boardrooms per se, like, just hypothetically, from their boardrooms, while you're sitting there questioning yourself, doubting your reality, looking depressed, looking, one of many things inside of the DSM manual, I'm sure, but the fact of the matter is that it's all happening by these people that are hiding behind fake ties and these criminal lines, that if you're drawing the line in the sand this far and no further, they're not only double crossing it and triple crossing it and quadruple crossing it and continuing to cross it, they're having multiple people scatter inside of your reality in that fashion. That's gonna also breadcrumb your reality, so that when you do catch on and you reach discovery, these covert malignant narcissists stage up the discard because they have no other option. They can't be there for you because their love is obsolete. That's not loving. And so when you call them out for their actions, they scatter like water bugs. And as soon as that happens, that's when they're going to imitate you. They're going to create conflict in any which way that they can. They're going to smear campaign against you. They're going to slander you. They're going to do everything in their power to turn you and project everything that they've been doing to you onto you. So don't question yourself. Trust your intuition. Pray for better discernment. Ask the Lord to literally kick you in the stomach when you have something that you need to see. In Jesus' mighty name. The Lord's going to kick you in your stomach. And it might not be something that you want to know, but it will be something that you need to know. So next is number 15, rewriting the story that you lived. This is them ghostwriting and covering up what really happened, and that's how they get away with this crime. They're of gaslighting and creating this mental construct for you, because they're trying to reinvent the wheel of your own truth to make you seem like the liar, make you seem like the one in the wrong, the one that's isolated, pushed, prodded upon, poked, poisoned, dealing with the psychological warfare. They're literally staging it all up to as well project all of that they've done onto you. Number 16 is twisting your own growth into a threat, leaving you no right to grow, basically. And you're attacking that to grow is literally the threat against them. So this is where the empath becomes a super threat to the narcissists and the campaigns of the narcissists, because they're trying to attack you when you're on the rise. You get away, like say me getting away from the St. Paul Park house after having been poisoned multiple times, and if I was to take all the rest of that Metamucil, I wouldn't be here, because it was so gamed in that fashion that I wanted to rise and I couldn't see it that way because of the poisons, not only from the poisons, but it's like you want loving partnerships with your own family, your own brothers, your own lovers, your own whoever you're with. You want that partnership so that you can have peace. But they're not allowing you to any of that peace. So this is why they attack you when you're rising, to reach out for breakthrough, because that breakthrough, they're trying to stop all avenues of it. This is where number 17 comes into play, using your doubt as their main weapon. Because if they can get you to doubt your own self and your own reality, that's legitimately them getting you to do their own work. It's the same thing as bullying a person into a suicidality to get them to take their life, so that you are doing the demon's work for them. So don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever let people get away from serious questions that you have regarding their contents of character. And if they do and they deflect, leave them be. You've no other choice. You might have love for them, but that love is not reciprocating, and it can't. It can't. With how they've treated you, I don't know how it can, put it that way. It would take an awful lot. I would just put it out there as that. It would take an awful lot. And some of these people you're not going to want anything to do with as well, much like my father getting away with rape and me not being able to take the stand simply because Child Protective Services can't work for me or my family for what the crime has been inside of my life. But I still to this day deserve to take that stand. Still to this day. So they want to attack me when I'm trying to rise up to these grinds, and just in regular functions in life, not just the situations of the courts. But using your doubt as their main weapon here, while you're trying to gain back a portion of your own life, they overload your system with confusion so that you never get a chance to reach clarity or peace. They want you so broken apart so that you can't clarify it. They want you so broken apart with poisons that you can't even speak it with the vocabulary you have. And especially when you're 5 years old, you don't have the vocabulary in the first fucking place. But they're not allowing you to even get to a place of peace at all. So they're projecting their evil onto you, which is number 18, where you're fighting demons and people within their own reasoning that has just been lost off. They've been psychologically just screwed up. So they're going to blame you for what they're doing. It's the classic projection act here, and this is mind games and gaslighting in its finest. Not to mention, again, the manipulation, that's witchcraft. Number 19 is love withdrawal games. Love turns cold when you have to question them. You should never have to question the contents of character of anyone that loves you, anyone that you love, because that love will be working hard to make sure that you are protected and that you know you're protected. That they wouldn't ever do anything to hurt you and disregard you or discard you. They'll make sure that you're not going to be pulled away emotionally and having to question your own worth, your own perception, your own identity. If they're doing these things to you, it's gaslighting, it's manipulative, and it's witchcraft. Next is number 20, is the denial of the spiritual abuse. They can't even admit to what their crimes are, and that's how they get away with it, is to deny you spiritually, legally, and emotionally on all fronts. Because within the situation of the systems, they're only looking at that little 8 to 80 second clip, or whatever that they can do to create the crime, or to I'm back up here. Not only do they do all this manipulative crap and psychological abuse and gaslighting and torture and poisoning and whatever, but it manipulates the situation where now you're freaking out. Now you're freaking out, and because you might say something wrong, in a wrong setting that you literally probably didn't have any control over, or had very little control over. They're trying to take that section and turn you into the crime. So this is where coercive control and coercive violence, it's already